We're going to get started. Are we ready? Okay. Hello. It is now 7:01, and I am reconvening to open session and calling to order the regular Board of Education meeting for Indian Prairie School District 204 on Monday, May 15th, 2023. Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Donahue?
Here.
Ms. Deming? Present. Ms. Jane?
Here.
Mr. Rising?
Here.
Ms. Fosdick?
Here.
Mr. Karubis?
Here.
And Ms. Ginks?
Here.
We have a quorum. Ms. Gents, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our next regular board meeting will be held on Monday, June 5th. We have 9 board salutes today. I'll start with Mr. Rising.
Indian Prairie High School is recognized as Project Lead the Way Distinguished Schools. The board salutes Metea Valley, Neuqua Valley, and Waubonsie Valley High Schools on being recognized as Project Lead the Way Distinguished Schools. The Project Lead the Way recognition program is designed to honor districts and schools committed to increasing student access, engagement, and achievement in Project Lead the Way programs. Project Lead the Way Distinguished Schools are empowering students to thrive in an evolving world and have achieved exemplary results from their programs. District 204 has 3 of the 261 high schools in the country to receive this honor for the 22-23 school year. Congratulations to all.
Ms. Jane. Oh, you had a
2.
second one.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Metea Valley Health Education Program receives state recognition. The board salutes Metea Valley Health Education Program on receiving the Health Blue Ribbon Award at the Illinois Association of Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance State Convention. This award is a recognition of great curriculum and excellent instruction that is provided to Metea Valley students. Congratulations to all.
Okay, now Ms. Jane.
District 204 students receive Rotary Club of Naperville scholarships. The board salutes several District 204 students for receiving youth scholarship awards from the Rotary Club of Naperville. The recipients are Neuqua Valley seniors Allison Enright, Srila Munukutla, Emily Negretti, Lachlan Sorensen, Isha Tucker, and Waubonsie Valley seniors Anika Manelkar and Sofia San Pedro. Scholarships were funded through generous donations from the Rotary Club of Naperville, Naperville Sunrise Rotary, Naperville Rotary Charities, Naperville Rotary Foundation, and members of the Slocum family. A total of 81 students applied for scholarships, and 7 out of the 15 scholarship recipients were District 204 students. Each will receive scholarships ranging from $2,000 to $5,000. Congratulations to all involved. Indian Prairie Classified Association scholarships awarded. The board salutes the 4 District 204 students who were honored by the Indian Prairie Classified Association with scholarships. The Indian Prairie Classified Association awarded scholarships to Kevin Boyer and Srijani Brekki from Metea Valley and Rachel File and Allison Roach from Neuqua Valley. We appreciate the Indian Prairie Classified Association for supporting our students through their scholarship programs. Congratulations to all the scholarship recipients.
Ms. Gents, your first one.
Oh, this is exciting. District 204 staff member named PAE MST finalist. The board salutes Scullin Middle School science teacher Aaron Mueller for being selected as a Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching finalist for the state of Illinois. Aaron is one of up to 3 finalists in the science category who will move on to the national level for review by the National Science Foundation. Congratulations, Aaron, on this stellar achievement.
Ms. Dumming.
District 204 students named National Merit Scholars. The board salutes Metea Valley seniors Rajas Gandhi and Leisha Garg, Neuqua Valley seniors Anika Prasad and Derek Cisparo, and Waubonsie Valley senior Jonah Elias, who were recently named 2023 National Merit Scholars by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. These students met criteria of their scholarship sponsors and were selected from more than 15,000 semifinalists who advanced to the finalist level in the National Merit Scholarship Competition. Congratulations.
Mr. Karubas.
District 204 students recognized in the National PTA Reflections Art Program. The board salutes Crone Middle School 8th grade student Garv Gupna and Nequa Valley High School sophomore Paul Casco, who were recognized with awards of merit at the National PTA level of the Recognition Art Program. Garv received his award for his photography piece titled Stand Out, and Paul for his music composition titled Ghost Savior. The Reflections program provides opportunities for recognition and access to the arts, which boost student confidence and success in the arts and in life. Congratulations to these students on this very well-deserved recognition.
Ms. Fosdick.
Waubonsie Valley student recognized as U.S. Presidential Scholar. The board salutes Waubonsie Valley senior Maxwell L. Neri, who was recently recognized as part of the 59th class of U.S. Presidential Scholars by the U.S. Department of Education. 161 high school seniors were honored from more than 5,000 candidates who qualified for the 2023 awards nationwide. The White House Commission on Presidential Scholars selects scholars annually based on their academic success, artistic and technical excellence, essays, school evaluations and transcripts, as well as a demonstrated commitment to community service and leadership. Congrats, Maxwell, on this outstanding achievement.
Let's give applause for all of these outstanding achievements. Oh, sorry. I'm in such a hurry today. This is such a fun meeting. So Ms. Fosdick
I
has
have
a second
one more.
Yeah.
Yes. An exciting one. 2023 Best Communities for Music Education. The National Association of Music Merchants Foundation named District 204 as one of the 2023 Best Communities for Music Education. District 204 is one of 623 districts in the nation to receive this recognition. The award acknowledges schools and districts across the country for their commitment and support for music education. The selection process is facilitated by the Music Education Research Institute at the University of Kansas and is based on music class participation, instruction, facilities, and overall support for music education programming. This is the 12th year Indian Prairie has received this national recognition. Congratulations to all our music teachers who provide outstanding music opportunities for our students.
All right, now applause for all of them. Now we have our student representative report from Kushi Vaishnu from Nequa Valley High School.
Hello and good evening. My name is Kushi Vaishnav, and it is my pleasure to represent Nequa here tonight. Getting right into sports, our spring seasons are coming to an end. Congratulations to girls badminton for getting second place at their IHSA state tournament. Both girls and boys track teams won their DVC tournaments, heading to their individual sectional teams. Boys tennis also won their DVC tournaments, going further in their season shortly. Good luck to all that are competing. In music, all groups are performing their final concerts of the year this month. On May 9th, the choir performed their final concert in our auditorium. Be sure to come on May 16th and May 18th to see our band and orchestra shine one last time. We round out the year in music with our Fine Arts Festival on May 20th. I'm so excited to see what everyone has prepared. We also had our annual spring musical this past month. Chicago was a student-based musical filled with music, dance numbers, and spectacular outfits. It was truly a memorable performance. As our principal said, it was one of the best in Nequa history. A job well done to all that participated, on and off the stage. The 2022-2023 yearbooks have finally arrived. Everyone who worked on the yearbook this year, making sure that it was perfect, got their sneak peek this past Friday. It has been a year of hard work for them, and I am sure it paid off. As our seniors finish off their final few days of high school, there are a lot of events and activities to keep them busy. This past Saturday was prom, held at Drury Lane. The theme was masquerade. Speaking from personal experience, it was a night to remember, filled with fun, photos, and lots of dancing. May 22nd and May 23rd are senior finals, but after that is when the fun really begins. On May 22nd, the Senior College Athlete Showcase is being held in the auditorium. All seniors continuing their athletic careers in the future are invited to attend and be celebrated. Senior Brunch is being held on Wednesday, May 24th at 10 a.m. in the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Tickets can be bought through Pushcoin from May 16th through May 19th. That evening, the Senior Honor Awards are being announced. Students with excellence in various fields will be celebrated, and their hard work for the past 4 years will be recognized. Congratulations to all that have been nominated. On Thursday, there is a mandatory graduation practice for all seniors, but that evening is a senior reflection ceremony at 7 p.m. Previously called the Bachelorette, and although optional, many seniors decide to join in and reflect on their years at Neuqua. On Saturday, May 27th, seniors are invited to take photos with their graduation cap and gown. It's a time to reminisce, celebrate together, and take photos at the school they've been through. The senior gift this year is a wrapped trailer truck. The Neuqua trailer will be visiting many feeder elementary schools over the summer to promote school spirit and get everyone in a good mood. We end our senior celebrations this year with graduation at NIU on Sunday, May 28th at 9:30 a.m. This commencement ceremony is a celebration of every senior at Neuqua and their accomplishments, hard work, and dedication for the past 4 years. It's been a pleasure speaking with you all. Thank you for listening, and for the last time, go Wildcats.
Thank you, Cushy, for your reports during the school year, so thank you very much. Our next topic is very important and near and dear to us, and it is about our Grow Your Own Teacher signing, and Dr. Lewis Lee is going to be presenting.
Thank you, President Donahue. First of all, tonight's the night of firsts. For the first time ever in our district, we are going to be honoring and celebrating over 50 students who have made the life-changing decision to enter into the field of education. Before we get started, I'd like to thank, first of all, our Board of Education for their continued support as we look beyond what are normal things in terms of addressing our teacher shortage. Dr. Talley, for your leadership and commitment to this program. Katie Popp, President of the Indian Prairie Education Association, Carrie Beth Harry, Director of Human Resources, and Mr. Brian Giovannini, our Director of Innovation. It takes a lot to put on a program of this magnitude, and we are in our second year of really taking our own students and immersing them into a program that we believe is going to not only help shape them to become future educators, but to become future leaders. Our Grow Your Own Teacher leadership team has been made up of administrators and teachers, and we want to thank you for your commitment to this. And tonight you're going to meet all of our high school coordinators, but I do want to acknowledge them by name. From Waubonsie Valley, Lynn Baranek, who couldn't be with us tonight, Michelle DeMar, from Neuqua Valley, Todd Mertz, and from Matia Valley, Rachel Bostic and Ann Cluxton. So before we get started, just to talk about a couple of logistic information. We're going to bring up 3 students at a time. Parents, we want to encourage you to take as many pictures as you like. We have reserved seating for photos right up front. The only request we have is that you remain seated because this is also going to be live streamed, and we want to make sure your head does not become part of that. After signing, students will be being greeted by Board President Mrs. Donahue and also our Superintendent Dr. Talley. After that, parents, you are free to leave and continue the celebration. We have 2 additional photo stations. One is right out these doors. We want to encourage you to take pictures out there in our lobby area. And then when you enter the building, there's also a photo opportunity there. So with that, let's get started with our first Grow Your Own Teacher signing event.
Good evening. First person we'd like to recognize is Miss Jaden Enos from Mattia Valley. We'd like to extend our excitement for Jaden Enos for selecting Illinois State University as a place to continue your passion for teaching. Your participation in the IPSD 204 Grow Your Own Teacher program has prepared you for a career in education, and we look forward to the ways you will inspire all your students. We'd like to share a few words from one of your education coaches, Melissa Hurd. Jaden is an absolute gem. Not only is she an amazing student, but she's the epitome of a true role model. She tackles every task with a positive attitude and always displays genuine kindness to everyone she encounters. When Miss Enos walks into a room, there is always a smile on her face. Jane's ambition, patience, and integrity are remarkable. Those who know this incredible young lady are beyond lucky, and her future students will be in the best hands. Congratulations.
Next, we would like to recognize Grace Mikniak. We would like to extend our excitement to Grace Mikniak for selecting North Central College as a place to continue your passion for teaching. Your participation in the IPSD 204 Grow Your Own Teacher program has prepared you for a career in education, and we look forward to the ways that you will inspire all students. We'd like to share a few words from one of your education coaches, Paulette Body. Grace Mikniak is a highly motivated student who possesses an inner passion to create musical art, both as an individual and as a member of an ensemble. Grace's loyalty, dedication, and work ethic allows her to stand out amongst all of her peers. She will make a terrific teacher in the future. Congratulations.
And next, we'd like to honor Kelly Parker. We'd like to extend our excitement to Kelly Parker for selecting Carroll University as a place to continue your passion for teaching. Your participation in the IPSD 204 Grow Your Own Teacher program has prepared you for a career in education, and we look forward to the ways that you'll inspire your students. We'd like to share a few words from one of your education coaches, Ian Cluxton. Kelly, we wish you continued success as you prepare for the next part of your life. Thank you for the dedication to this program, music, and your future students. Congratulations. Go ahead and sign, ladies. Keep the pen. Keep the pen.
Get comfy. Next, we would like to extend our excitement to Ella Reed for selecting Illinois Wesleyan University as a place to continue your passion for teaching. Your participation in the IPSD 204 Grow Your Own Teacher program has prepared you for a career in education, and we look forward to the ways that you will inspire all students. We'd like to share a few words from one of your education coaches, Patty Marzalek. Ella is a kind-hearted student and will make an amazing teacher. She is welcoming to everyone around her and creates special bonds with all of the people in her life. Ella is intelligent, talented, and the kind of teacher I would love for my own children to have someday. I wish her all the best at Illinois Wesleyan University and in her future. Congratulations.
Next, we'd like to honor Kaylee Rux. We'd like to extend our excitement to Kaylee for selecting University of Nebraska-Lincoln as a place to continue your passion for teaching. Your participation in the IPSD 204 Grow Your Own Teacher program has prepared you for a career in education, and we look forward to the ways that you will inspire all students. We'd like to share a few words from one of your education coaches, Carol Hall. Kaylee is a natural. Teaching is her calling. Her combination of hard work ethic and ability to let her guard down and be silly makes her an amazing teacher. Kaylee is exactly what the teaching profession needs right now. Congratulations.
And finally, from Mattia, we'd like to extend our excitement to Olivia Rodriguez for selecting University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign as a place to continue your passion for teaching. Your participation in the IPSD 204 Grow Your Own Teacher program has prepared you for a career in education, and we look forward to the ways that you will inspire all students. We'd like to share a few words from one of your education coaches, Tina Chambers. Olivia is going to be a fabulous teacher. She is kind and compassionate. She works collaboratively with students and is a strong, confident leader. Olivia's communication skills and her passion for helping others will allow her to flourish as a teacher. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Come on up.
That was so professional.
All right, from Waubonsee Valley, we have Caroline Wertelak, and we would like to extend our excitement to her for selecting Illinois State University as a place to continue her passion for teaching. Your participation in the IPSD 204 Grow Your Own Teacher program has prepared you for a career in education, and we look forward to the ways that you will inspire all of your students. We would like to share a few words from one of your education coaches, Mary Whitney, who was your middle school choir teacher. She said, "It is wonderful to see Caroline grow into a more looks ahead at teaching. She will be a patient listener to her students and lead her classes with kindness." Congratulations, Caroline. That's what we got. Go ahead and sign.
Hello, my name is Todd Mertz, and I'm a teacher at Neuqua Valley High School. And we have Dylan DeBezic here. We would like to extend our excitement to Dylan DeBezic for selecting College of DuPage as a place to continue your passion for teaching. Your participation in the Illinois Prairie School District 204 Grow Your Own Teacher program has prepared you for a career in education, and we look forward to the ways that you will inspire many students to come. We'd like to share a few words from one of your education coaches, Luke Gottfried. Dylan was an outstanding student in my class. I really enjoyed his tremendous amount of positive energy. He's a natural leader, very adaptable, and has a lot of enthusiasm for learning. He definitely has the potential to become an outstanding teacher. Thank you, Dylan.
All right, so you heard me say that there were 50. Obviously, that's not 50. Our future teachers, there was a lot of prom events happening, so I know they're resting up. Before we continue, can we get one more round of applause for all of our future teachers? At this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Brian Giovannini for another presentation.
Thank you very much. I will be very short today, but we have the exciting opportunity, and Dylan is one of our students. Through the Post-Secondary and Workforce Readiness Act, it allows our district to offer college and career pathway endorsements to our high school graduates. And the education pathway happens to be our first endorsement that we're offering to our students, and we have 13 students who have earned that endorsement this year. Before we do that, I want to say a quick thank you to Jen Yaborski, a teacher at Neuqua Valley High School, and Dr. Purcell and Grant Saar, some members of our team who are collaborators and support this work throughout our district as we continue to build more endorsements for our students to earn during their high school career. So students can earn that endorsement by doing 4 different things. The first thing is completing an individualized career plan, which they do through their 4-year course plan, completing 2 years worth of coursework in that pathway, which 6 hours have to be college credit, 2 team-based challenges that involves an authentic problem that has some type of mentorship and feedback during that process, and then 60 hours of work-related experience or internship within that. And our students have an opportunity to earn that through our Education 1 and Education 2 classes. So with that being said, we'd like to honor our students. Some of them are here and some of them are not. The first one is Julia Brizu. In the interest of time, I'll read them off real quick. Dylan Dobezic, Isabel Danton, Madison DeWhite, Amanda Duncan, Ava Franzen, Regan Houlihan, Lauren Keener, Aubrey Stefanski, Morgan Sweeney, Anusha That, Kaylin Tuma, and Kate Wolfel. Congratulations to all of our students. And Dylan, can you please come on back up here?
So now we're going to have our Outstanding Service Award for our student representatives, Kushi Vashanuv, Sophia Lee, and Saad Karashi.
Each year, we want to recognize the 3 students who, at each meeting, they provide us great information about what's happening in their high schools. So first, I have Kushi Vishna, who attends Neuqua Valley. She will be going to Case Western Reserve next year. So Kushi, if you'll come forward. Congratulations to you and all that you've done. And if you just stay up here, because we're going to take a picture with all of you. And then we have Ms. Sophie Lee, who attends Waubonsie Valley. Sophie will attend UCLA next year. Is Sophie here? And then our last is Saeed Qureshi, who attends Matia. He will be going to Loyola next year, but he cannot be here tonight, so I will give him his award individually. And so I think we just want to take a picture right here in front of the board. Will that be all right with everybody?
Yes.
Do the principals want to join?
As is our custom, the board would like to take this opportunity to recognize our administrative retirees. The first is Ken Bonono.
I've got a long thing to read here, so I'm going to make you stand right next to me while I do. Indian Prairie District 204 Proclamation. Whereas Ken Bonono has had an accomplished career in education, beginning as a business education instructor, discipline committee member, assistant football and wrestling coach at Lisle Community School District 202 for 2 years. He then moved to Wheaton Community School District 200, where he served as a principal, assistant principal, dean, career and technology education instructor, curriculum council and building safety committee member, and the assistant football coach. In 2010, he joined Indian Prairie School District 204 as principal of Arlene Welch Elementary School. And whereas Mr. Bonono was appointed principal at Mary Lou Collishaw Elementary School in 2013, where he served for 7 years before moving to Owen Elementary School in 2020. And whereas Mr. Bonono is a strong believer in quality education for every child and has diligently worked to enhance the education opportunities for the students in the district, and he has been a tireless advocate for special education students by making sure that they have the supports they need to be successful in the classroom and beyond. And whereas he was named the Assistant Coach of the Year in 1992 by the Illinois Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. And whereas Mr. Bonono has modeled hard work, dedication, and kindness to each and every student. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Indian Prairie School District 204 Board of Education, Administration, and Community honor Mr. Ken Bonomo for his outstanding career in education, which enriched the lives of so many students. We wish Mr. Bonomo the best as he moves into retirement. Congratulations. Are we doing pictures?
Our next retiree is Daryl Eccles.
Same routine. Whereas Daryl Eccles has devoted 31 years to education as a teacher, coach, dean of students, and principal, as well as a mentor, role model, colleague, an all-around team player, and friend to everyone. Whereas Dr. Eccles began his career in education as a fifth grade teacher at Bellwood and in Lincolnwood, Illinois, then came to District 204 in 1998 to teach seventh grade at Thayer J. Hill Middle School. He has spent most of his last 25 years in District 204 with a short 2-year diversion as principal of William B. Ornick Intermediate School in Plainfield, Illinois. Dr. Eccles has served as the principal of Thayer J. Hill Middle School and dean of students at Waubonsee Valley High School. And whereas in 2014, Dr. Eccles was appointed as the second principal of Mattia Valley High School, and one of his favorite memories was the ABC TV flyover that took place during his first year as principal. And whereas Dr. Eccles received numerous awards and accolades throughout his career, he was named as the 2018 African American Leader of the Year from the City of Aurora, African American Heritage Advisory Board, the Indian Prairie Educational Foundation Most Influential Educator for 6 consecutive years, Who's Who Among America's Teachers from 2003 to 2005, Thayer J. Hill Middle School Team Leader for 4 years, and in 1999, the NALCO Teacher of the Year. And whereas Dr. Eccles successfully completed his Doctorate of Education Leadership and Administration at Aurora University, now therefore be it proclaimed that the District 204 Board of Education, Administration, and Community honor Dr. Eccles' dedication and devotion to the students, teachers, and parents of our community by creating a caring environment which always places students first. We are immensely grateful for all that he has done for our students. Although we will miss his kindness, his sense of humor, and his commitment to District 204. We wish him all the best in his future endeavors. And as go Mustangs.
Our next honoree is Mary Howitz. Oh, good.
All right, Indian Prairie School District 204 Proclamation. Whereas Mary Howitz has devoted the past 25 years of her career working with students in Indian Prairie School District 204, serving as a teacher, student services coordinator, and principal. And whereas Mrs. Howitz began her career working in the parochial school system in Chicago prior to coming to Indian Prairie School District 204. And whereas Ms. Howitz started as an early childhood inclusive teacher at Prairie Children Preschool in 1998, and then transferred to Mary Lou Collishaw Elementary School, where she served as student services coordinator for 7 years. She then moved to Brookdale Elementary School and served as principal for 8 years. Since 2020, she has served as principal of White Eagle Elementary School. And whereas Ms. Howitz has been a favorite of students, staff, administrators, and parents due to her warmth, enthusiasm, dedication, joyful spirit, and infectious smile. And whereas Ms. Howitz has modeled hard work, continuous learning, and dedication to each and every student, and has inspired all students to achieve their greatest potential. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Indian Prairie School District 204 Board of Education, Administration, and Community honor Miss Mary Howitz's devotion to students, teachers, and parents of our district. We are grateful for her kind and compassionate leadership and all that she has done for our students. We wish her all the best in her retirement endeavors.
The next honoree is Brian Leckrone.
Okay. Whereas Brian Leckrone has devoted the past 15 years of his career working with elementary school students in Indian Prairie School District 204, serving as a principal at Brookdale and May Watts Elementary Schools, and whereas Mr. Leckrone served as middle school math teacher within Lisle School District 202 for 14 years, and then moved to Carl Sandburg Junior High School in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, where he served as assistant principal for 2 years, and went on to serve as principal of Kimball Hill Elementary School in Rolling Meadows, Illinois for 2 years, and whereas in addition to teaching in Lisle, Mr. Leckrone grew up there and attended Lisle Senior High School, where his father was his principal. And whereas Mr. Leckrone has created an atmosphere of mutual trust and support among his staff and works diligently and successfully to develop and sustain high morale while maintaining high expectations for the attainment of personal, school, and district goals. And whereas Mr. Leckrone has modeled hard work, continuous learning, and dedication to each and every student in District 204. And whereas under Mr. Leckrone leadership, May Watts Elementary School received one of the highest accolades of being named a Blue Ribbon School by the U.S. Department of Education. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Indian administration and community honor Mr. Leckrone dedication and devotion to the students, teachers, and parents of our community through his enthusiastic approach to continuous improvement, leadership, and staff development. We are incredibly grateful for all that he has done for our students. Although we will miss his passion for always inspiring our students to achieve their greatest potential and his unwavering commitment to District 204, we wish him all the best in his future endeavors.
The next honoree is Jana Zurich.
Indian Prairie School District 204 Proclamation. Whereas Janan Zurich had devoted the past 10 years of her 33-year career working with students in Indian Prairie School District 204, serving as principal of Georgetown Elementary School, and whereas Ms. Zurich has worked in a variety of roles prior to coming to Indian Prairie School District 204, beginning as a social worker in Yorkville, Illinois, and a special education coordinator, assistant principal, and principal at Plainfield Community School District 202. And whereas in January 2018, Ms. Zurich went on a Life Touch memory mission in the Dominican Republic, and she was able to return with a vision to transform her staff and inspire kids to see their role in a global marketplace. And whereas Ms. Zurich is loved by students, staff, and families in the Georgetown Elementary community and will be missed by many. And whereas Ms. Zurich is an exceptional leader who believes in all students and works tirelessly to advocate for at-risk students and is a model of perseverance. She has built a strong bond with staff who trust and appreciate her leadership. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Indian Prairie School District 204 Board of Education, Administration, and Community honor Ms. Zurich's dedication and devotion to the students, teachers, and parents of our community, where all felt valued in a supportive learning environment. We are truly grateful for all she has done for our students, and we wish her the best as she moves into this next chapter of her life's journey.
And our last but not least, incredible leader in our district of all of these people, Claudette Walton.
Sorry, I had to share with Principal Walton that one of my daughters asked this afternoon, does she remember that we were in her school? Indian Prairie School District 204 Proclamation. Whereas Claudette Walton began her career in education in 1991 and joined Indian Prairie School District in 2008 as a part-time human resources director at the Krause Education Center and part-time assistant principal at Fry Elementary School. And whereas Ms. Walton began teaching in first, second, and third grades at Wheaton Community School District 200, and later served as the district's Director of Human Resources prior to coming to Indian Prairie School District 204. And whereas in 2010, Ms. Walton served as principal at Mary Lou Calishaw Elementary School before becoming principal at V. Blanche Graham Elementary School. And whereas Ms. Walton is loved by students, staff, and families in the V. Blanche Graham Elementary community and will be missed by many. And whereas Ms. Walton strived to make V. Blanche Graham Elementary School extremely student-centered. This approach has helped build strong ties with the community, develop sound academic programs, and maintain a school climate that is safe, caring, and inclusive. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Indian Prairie School District 204 Board of Education, Administration, and Community honor Ms. Walton's dedication and devotion to the students, teachers, and parents of our community by creating a caring environment which always places students first. We applaud her work to celebrate the diversity of our students and thank her for her contributions that have been beneficial to all. We wish her the best as she moves into retirement.
We ran away too quick.
Thank you to a set of very amazing leaders in our district and for all of the support and help that you gave to our students. So thank you so very much. You'll be greatly missed. All right. Next up is our Inspire Awards, and we will have these presented by Dr. Talley.
Well, thank you very much. Last year was the inauguration of the Inspire Awards, and so I'm very happy that we are able to do this again this year. The mission of Indian Prairie School District is to inspire all students to achieve their greatest potential. With that in mind, we'll be presenting 4 District 204 awards to recognize individuals and organizations who make a meaningful and lasting impact on the students of Indian Prairie School District. Our first award is the Illuminate Award, which is given to a community member or organization which is dedicated to supporting District 204 students in the community. This year's recipient of the Illuminate Award is Team Tutors 204, which was founded in 2017 by 4 District 204 high school students. This is a student-run organization that meets year-round in the 95th Street branch of the Naperville Public Library. The mission of Team Tutors 204 has been to enhance students' academic skills by implementing free weekly tutoring. Here to accept the award for Team Tutors is Board President Ryan Lee and the incoming President Ruhi Cheatham. Congratulations to both everyone.
Parents, we can come up to get a better angle.
Congratulations to you as well. We're going to take one picture here, and then we'll take another one with all the award winners. Okay? I've changed it up a little bit. Okay, and we'll take one picture with all the winners momentarily. Thank you. Congratulations. Our second honor is the Impact Award, which is given to a staff member who has made a significant difference in the lives of our students. The recipient of the Impact Award is Mr. Andrew Kruger, a world language teacher at Waubonsie Valley High School. Andrew encourages students through seeing their fundamental qualities by getting to know the students as an individual. His nomination states, quote, he takes the time to have one-on-one conversations with students, learning about their interests, strengths, challenges, and understanding their unique background and experiences. He always encourages the students to believe in themselves and achieve their full potential. So, I congratulate you. And we'll take a picture at the end. Our third is the Ignite Award, which is given to students who are emerging leaders and demonstrate exemplary qualities within a District 204 student organization. The Ignite Award is presented to Neuqua Valley sophomore Valeria Ramirez for making a significant impact on young students' lives by igniting their passion for robotics. After volunteering in 2021 and 2022 robotics summer camp, and after-school robotics programs at Crone Middle School in 2021, Valeria noticed that students with prior robotics experience excelled. With the support of Welch Elementary Principal Sarah Nowak, Valeria and her team established the Welch Elementary Robotics team with 30 fifth grade students. She volunteered her time and expertise to lead the students, sharing her knowledge and instilling in them the values of communication, collaboration, creativity, and problem solving. Valeria, congratulations, and come for your award, please. And our final award is the Inspire Award, which is given to an individual or entity who has demonstrated exemplary service to District 204 over a sustained period of time. The recipient of this year's Inspire Award is Ms. Shelby Schultz for her continued support of Indian Prairie School District over the past 13 years. Shelby has worked tirelessly volunteering her time as a classroom and STEAM Day volunteer, Scullin PTSA president, dance concession chair, helping to create the Scullin World Cafe, band parent volunteer for the Memorial Day Parade, parent representative for the Middle School Planning Committee, Waubonsie Valley PTA president, Warrior Warehouse director, senior celebration chairperson, coordinator of the elementary school celebration for the senior class, athletic booster, IPPC scholarship committee, Indian Prairie School District boundary committee member, IPPC president-elect, and most recently, she arranged the healthcare power of attorney free for all high school seniors in the district. Through all of her efforts, Shelby Schultz has truly inspired others to get involved to make a positive change in their school community. Shelby? And if I can have all the winners come up forward, please. And we'll award.
Such an exciting meeting tonight, and it's so fun to give out good news and recognize people for all of their amazing hard work in the district, so thank you. It is now time for public comment, and 60 minutes is allowed for public comment. Each person is limited to 3 minutes. When addressing the board, we ask that you respect the confidentiality and safety of our students and school district personnel. We also ask that those addressing the board be cognizant that this is an open meeting and is available to all age groups, and as such, ask that you consider who the audience members are this evening and keep comments age appropriate. Public comment represents the voice and opinion of the speaker. There will be no feedback from the board members during the meeting, but follow-up will be provided by the administrator as appropriate. Although this is not required, it is helpful for the board to know whether the comments and concerns we hear are being raised by residents. So we ask if you state if you live in the district and if you currently have children in our schools. We have 2 speakers tonight. The first one is Mahesh Chintakunta. Welcome. Hi.
Thank you. Namaste. This is Mahesh Chintakunta. I'm a resident of Naperville, and my both children go to IPHT school. I'm a volunteer at HSS, a non-profit, social, educational, and cultural organization. Today, I am here along with my fellow volunteer to provide a brief overview about Guru Vandana. To celebrate Teachers Appreciation Week, HSS hosted Guru Vandana. You may be wondering, what is Guru Vandana? So let me split this word into 2. Guru, Vandana. You all know what is Guru, the teacher. Vandana is a reverence to the teacher. Let me recite a Sanskrit hymn. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheswaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. In this hymn, the teacher is referred as a god, the creator, Brahma, the sustainer, Vishnu, and the dissolver, Shiva. As Guru creates and sustains knowledge in the students and also destroys the ignorance. This is the value that we imbibe in our children who are attending our organization. In this event, our elementary children held a living wax museum representing the famous personalities from India. All the teachers who attended this event learned from the students about the Indian personalities. The middle school children explained the relationship between Guru and students from the various epics from India. They also drew comparisons and the parallels to the modern day Guru, the teacher, and the students. This was thoroughly enjoyed by all the audience. The high schoolers conducted the entire 3.5-hour program. This is what we try to build in our students. All the teachers were felicitated by the respective students. We had more than 60 teachers coming from 204 district, more than 25 schools. The board members, Laura Rana and also Sapna Jain, were also there. Extremely happy to be there. Thank you. Several teachers took the opportunity to provide the feedback about the event and how they felt about being honored. There were total 250 audience in the whole event. And there is no Indian event without delicious Indian food. So all our families cooked the food for 250 people.
Ms. Donahue, the speaker time has ended.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mahesh.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you board and all of you who attended the event as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The next speaker is Alicia Smith.
Hello. I am a resident of 204 with loved ones in the district. I am an alumni of 204. I have taught in 204, and I currently teach in School District 203. 204 needs equity in having successful schools. 4 204 schools fall below the state average in testing: Fisher, Georgetown, Longwood, and McCarty. When the district designed the boundaries of Gombert, Longwood, and McCarty, it gave them a low-income population that is more than double the district average of 18%. Georgetown's low-income and free and reduced lunch population is more than triple the district average of 18%. Then the district created even more inequity by having 3 of those schools feed into Fisher Middle School. A student attending either Georgetown or McCarty from kindergarten through 5th grade, and then Fisher for middle school, will have attended a school for 9 years that have not met the state average in testing. School districts do not need to have to create inequitable schools that cannot meet the state testing averages. Naperville 203's low-income average is 15% compared to 204's 18%, and does not have a single school with a low-income free reduced lunch average that is more than double their district average. As a result, every single school in Naperville 203 is well above the state average in testing. I'm going to give you some quotes from this book. It's a New York Times bestseller, Poverty by America by Matthew Desmond. And he does a lot of work looking into the inequities of poverty in schools. And he says, quote, "Do we not colonize the future when we reserve spaces there for our children while denying other children a fair shot? By deconcentrating poverty in schools and communities, integration blunts its sting. Simply moving poor families to high-opportunity schools without doing anything to increase their incomes improves their lives tremendously. America has backslid since Brown versus Board of Education, so much so that our children's schools today are less economically diverse than their grandparents' schools were. And although we have taken baby steps towards racial integration, most of our communities remain sharply segregated by race as well." I know that sometimes the district says, oh, well, you know, those schools have school-wide title funding, more funding to help those students. But as he says, quote, "Students from poor families who attended low-poverty schools significantly outperform those who attended high-poverty schools with state-of-the-art educational interventions. Even when we expand the budgets of poor schools beyond those of rich ones, it does not make those schools anything close to equal. We deserve to be included in the district's educational excellence. We want equitable schools for Fisher, Georgetown, Gombert, Longwood, and McCarty." Thank you.
Thank you. We now move to our consent agenda and superintendent report. We will start with the superintendent report. Dr. Talley.
Thank you, Ms. Donahue, members of the Board of Education and Indian Prairie community. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so I hope all of our mothers had a wonderful Mother's Day yesterday. I want to take a moment to recognize the passing of a great friend of Indian Prairie, Mr. John Allen Fry. He was the first chairman of the Indian Prairie Education Foundation. He also served on the board of the Naperville YMCA and Harris Bank. He truly was vested in the Education Foundation and the work it did to start the Fine Arts Festival and provide other opportunities for the children of Indian Prairie School District. May his family know what a difference he made for our school system. As this is the last Board of Ed meeting before the end of the school year, I do want to spotlight a few things about this last year. Yes, we do have a meeting in June, but it is after the children have left. All of our schools were rated exemplary or commendable by the Illinois Report Card, with a rise in the number of exemplary schools. For the class of 22, which is the latest data we received, our AP Scholars data returned to pre-pandemic levels. 269 AP Scholars, 244 AP Scholars with honors, 562 AP Scholars with distinction. We started our mental health clinics in 6 schools and have been able to provide services to more than 250 families. Our Board of Education earned another governance award and has earned one every year since 2014. Our district is ranked 36 out of more than 10,000 districts across the country, and as the best and the 11th best in the state of Illinois. All 3 of our high schools are ranked in the top 25 of Illinois. The dance team at Mattia won the state championship this year. Our STEPS program moved into new quarters that they are loving. We implemented our first strategic plan, and we have also celebrated 50 years of Indian Prairie. These are just a small number of accomplishments this year, all possible due to the collective effort of everyone: students, parents, staff, and community. Before I turn the meeting back, I'd like the Board of Ed to approve the appointment of Ms. Carrie Beth Harry as our new Chief Human Resources Officer effective July 1, 2023. Ms. Harry will be replacing Dr. Lewis Lee, who will be our next Deputy Superintendent. Ms. Harry is currently our Director of Human Resources. She comes to her new position with more than 15 years of human resources experience, having worked in various roles in our HR department here in our district. She was selected because of her experiences, her knowledge about HR policies, and the strong relationship she has with staff across the district. I would also like the Board of Ed to approve the appointment of Ms. Heather R. Whistler to be the new principal of Owen Elementary School, replacing Mr. Kit Ben Bonomo, who is retiring at the end of the school year. Ms. Whistler is coming to us from Grand Prairie Elementary School, where she has been principal since 2017. She has also served as an assistant principal, fourth and first grade teacher, and reading teacher. She's excited about the opportunity to come and work at Owen and form positive relationships with students and staff and parents. And finally, I would like the Board of Ed to approve my recommendation to change Dr. Nader Najjar's current title from Executive Director of Education Equity to Assistant Superintendent for Equity and Innovation. Dr. Najjar will oversee the equity work he is currently doing and also work with the Director of Innovation and the Director of Professional Development. Dr. Najjar will present the equity plan at the next Board of Ed meeting. Ms. Donahue, I'll turn the meeting back to you.
All right. I need a motion to approve Dr. Nader Najjar as Assistant Superintendent of Equity and Innovation as presented.
I move that the Board of Education approve Dr. Najjar as Assistant Superintendent of Educational Equity and Innovation as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Fosdick,
Yes.
Ms. Jane,
Yes.
Mr. Karubas,
Yes.
Mr. Rising,
Yes.
Ms. Deming,
Aye.
Ms. Jinks,
Yes.
and Ms. Donahue.
Yes. The motion passes. Congratulations to, okay, not here. All right. I now need a motion to approve Carrie Beth Harry as Chief Human Resources Officer as presented.
I move that the Board of Education approve Carrie Beth Harry as Chief Human Resource Officer as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Jane,
Yes.
Ms. Jinks,
Yes.
Mr. Karubas,
Yes.
Ms. Fosdick,
Yes.
Mr. Rising,
Yes.
Ms. Deming,
Aye.
Ms. Donahue.
Yes. Motion passes. Congratulations.
We ever introduced her significant other that's with her? That's okay, she passed.
All right, and now I need a motion to approve Heather Whistler as principal of Owen Elementary School as presented.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve Heather Whistler as principal of Owen Elementary as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? Okay, Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Rising,
Yes.
Ms. Fosdick,
Yes.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Ms. Deming,
Aye.
Ms. Jinks.
Yes.
Keep doing that wrong, sorry.
Gens. It's gens, though.
It's
Well,
Gens, I know it is.
Sorry.
I keep doing that. Mr. Karubas
Yes.
and Ms. Deming. Did I miss somebody? Or Ms. Jane.
Yes.
There we go.
The motion passes. Congratulations.
This will bring our family together. Now, husband and wife will be both in the same district.
He teaches at Newport Valley, Social Studies Department, and then I have Raleigh, my oldest, and then Eston, my oldest. And he is not shy of me. Thank you.
Next, we move to our consent agenda items. I need a motion and a second for approval of consent agenda items G through Q.
I move that the Board of Education approve consent agenda items G through Q as presented.
I second.
Any discussion?
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Oh, gosh. Mr. Carubus?
Ms. Gentz?
Mr.
Yes.
Thank you. Miss Jane?
Yes.
Miss Gentz?
Yes.
Miss Deming?
Aye.
Miss Donahue?
Yes, aye.
Mr. Rising?
Yes.
And Miss Fosdick?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, now I need a motion and a second to approve the 2023-2024 High School Social Studies Advanced Placement, United States Government and Politics textbooks and digital resources as presented.
I'll make a motion the Board of Education approves the 2023-2024 High School Social Studies Advanced Placement, United States Government and Politics textbooks and digital resources as presented.
I second.
Would you like to come up to, no?
You can just vote.
Okay.
This is more than a one-year thing. It's not just 2023, 2024.
Yeah.
It is for that budget. It would be, this is, as we talked about last time, it would be the textbooks and 6-year digital accompanying that.
Perfect.
Yeah, the motion might read a little, it's approved for this budget, but it should be clarified that it is an ongoing, I'm assuming it's ongoing renewals as well, correct?
Correct.
So it's not just 23, 24.
Correct.
Should we modify the motion?
I think you just take out the 23, 24. I think it should, the motion should just read, the Board of Education approves the high school social studies advanced placement, United States government and politics textbooks and digital resources, correct?
Second.
All right, did you fully read that?
You would,
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He did.
you withdraw your initial motion?
Yes, I withdraw my initial motion and make the motion
And your amendment.
omitting the 23, 24, because it's an ongoing curriculum adoption. So the motion should read, the Board of Education approves the high school social studies advanced placement, United States government and politics textbooks and digital resources as presented.
Would the superintendent like to chime in?
Well, I'm just saying, it reads, beginning in the 2023-2024 school year. In the,
Does it say that?
approve the following textbook and accompanying digital resources for use beginning in the 2023 in the memorandum that goes along with it. So it is beginning, it doesn't say.
I think ours didn't say beginning on here.
The memo
It-
does, but
in
not
the
the
memo
motion.
that's in the board docs.
Okay. I think
I think
we're
we're good
okay
with the
it.
current motion.
Yeah, so you second the current
Yes.
motion? All right, so, Michelle, will you call the roll?
Did we,
But we had,
What? He
Didn't we-
withdrew his motion.
but we didn't do anything with the other motion that was on the floor.
He
We did-
withdrew.
Oh, you withdrew it?
yeah, which one, just so I'm clear now.
The original one you withdrew.
Since it's my motion. Are we continuing with the motion with the years or without the years?
Without.
Without.
Okay. Then that is the one that is currently on the table,
Right.
yes. Okay.
And then Mr. Karuba's second.
Thank you, Mr. Brousseau.
My pleasure.
Good job.
All right, Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Rising?
Yes.
Mr. Carubus?
Yes.
Miss Deming?
Aye.
Miss Donahue?
Aye.
Miss Jane?
Yes.
Miss Fosdick?
Yes.
And Miss Gins?
Yes.
The motion passes. So our next one, I need a motion and a second to approve the high school biology and honors biology textbooks and digital resources as presented.
I move that the Board of Education approve the high school biology and honors biology textbooks and digital resources as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? Okay, Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Miss Fosdick?
Yes.
Miss Jane?
Yes.
Mr. Carubus?
Yes.
Miss Gins?
Yes.
Mr. Rising?
Yes.
Miss Deming?
Aye.
And Miss Donahue?
Aye. The motion passes. We need a motion and a second to approve the Board of Education triple I conference expense pre-approved as presented.
I move that the Board of Education approve the Board of Education III Conference expense pre-approval as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? This is our yearly conference that we go to in the Illinois School Board Association. Okay, Michelle, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Jane,
Yes.
Mr. Rising,
Yes.
Ms. Deming,
Aye.
Ms. Donahue,
Aye.
Mr. Karubis,
Yes.
Ms. Fosdick,
Yes.
and Ms. Skins.
Yes.
The motion passes. We will now have a presentation from Dr. Michael Purcell regarding Human Geography course update.
I'm all flustered now.
You'll recover.
Good evening, Dr. Talley and Board of Education. I'm accompanied today, this evening by Matt Walski, who's a teacher at Metea Valley High School, an integral part of this work, and he'll talk a little bit more about his role and the role of the others on the team here in just a moment. But we are here to share with you geography course. This is a course that you approved late fall last year, right around the turn of the new calendar year. And wanted to come and tell you about the work the team has done kind of since that approval, and then to ask for some consideration for resource proposals. I want to tell you about that tonight, and then ask for a vote with a much cleaner title next time we come in. So, so this course, our purpose tonight is to provide the board, the update on the proposal. And then, these things lead into several board policies, Board Policy 640, which is along curriculum development, Board Policy 660, around curriculum content. This course does meet a graduation requirement for social studies. Board Policy 6210 around instructional materials, which we'll talk about towards the end of the presentation, and ties very close to the strategic plan number one, both the focus on student development and also significant portions of the equity plan, which we'll highlight, which Dr. Najjar will come and talk at much more length at our next meeting, but certainly was a huge part of this work, and he was able to kind of put some input on that in the development as well. So the human geography class has a couple pieces. One, it's obviously aligned to the Illinois state standards for learning, right? These are based on what's called the C3 standards. We talked a little bit about that at our last presentation, along with the AP government class. Right, and big pieces of that are the inquiry standards, not just kind of shoveling content, right, and knowing about mountain ranges and rivers, but really kind of understanding how all of this develops and how to really think about it and how all that works, and then mandates, and we've provided the board some updates on a series of mandates that the state of Illinois has put into place. We talked a bit last year about the Teach Act. That's certainly one of them. Things around our LGBTQ+ community. And one is faith-based instruction, really looking at both understanding the tenets of religion and also people of faith that have made contributions to specifically in the law to America. So, so this course, and we'll see the development of how this kind of rolls out here in a second, was designed to make sure that we met those. And one of the things we talked about in the development of this class is having guaranteed and viable delivery systems for these standards that we can make sure we get to all students. As we mentioned earlier, this was board approved earlier this year and meets the graduation requirements for grade 9 social studies. What we love about this class, what we started with in this room as we were kind of getting going, was really the students are at the center of the curriculum, right? This is really about them first, and kind of straight out of the equity plan. One of the goals of this class is to develop a strong sense of self-awareness, understanding of students' needs, strengths, and areas of growth. This is a big piece of what this course is all about. And one of the things that we did to ensure that was to bring a team of teachers from all of our schools with a variety of backgrounds to help us to do that. I want to give that group a moment. Paul Whistler, who just walked out a moment ago, part of that team, Joe Polanski and Deanna Lindsay, all from Neuqua Valley, Arlen McCann, Robin Chang from Wabanzi, Josh Robinson and Chris Leroy from Metea Valley, Matt from Metea Valley as well. Our three social studies department chairs have done really great work of framing this up: Adam Deitch, Tom Pancook, and Tom McManaman. We've had our LMC's directors involved in this work. You'll hear a little bit about their work here in just a moment. We've had additional English language learner teachers that have been sort of liaisons to the work, right? Not there all the time, but certainly staying connected and giving great input when they're there. And additional special education teachers in addition to special education work that Matt does. So that really brought a variety of not just opinions, but also experiences and backgrounds, and making sure that we really had a diversity of thought in terms of who was there. Really, developing this through the lens that's in the strategic plan of strategic plan priority 1, right, of student achievement, equity, and engagement. Matt's going to talk a little bit about kind of the team and how we kind of came at that. And Matt's role primarily at Mattia Valley is to work as a special educator. Has been working with our grade 9 social studies for quite some time. Was a natural. He and his partner. Sometimes I'm not sure which one's a social studies person, which one's a special ed person, because they kind of look alike. And they're both really good at looking out for kids, right? So, but a little bit about, maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about kind of how that's played out in this work.
I'm just glad Chris wasn't here to
Yeah,
say
right.
that. Yeah, so part of the deal that when we came on board, and one of the things I was grateful for, is that we really wanted to ensure that all students had access to the curriculum. As a matter of fact, it was one of the pillars that we identified for ourselves when we first started out developing the curriculum. We had to acknowledge the fact that students in this required graduation course were going to be taking this at a where their skill levels are below 9th grade readiness. And we wanted to make sure that we had the ability to get them caught up appropriately. Now, in order to do that, we wanted to make sure that we had the proper resources, and we had the to create that accessibility, to create that engagement. We wanted to make sure we kept that in mind and meet the kids where their skill levels are currently at. Gratefully, like, everybody on the team was very much so open to that, and occasionally, even with the reminders of that we're building this brand new course, and we sometimes end up geeking out over the possibilities, and it's totally a thing. And it's like, now, hold on a sec. Let's keep in mind that these are the students, and this is the students' curriculum, and we want to make sure that it's centered around them to create these local, national, and global citizens and create their participation within that. And everybody has done a really great job of keeping that in mind and keeping the skill levels and how to build that skill level moving forward.
Perfect. We'll circle back on kind of some of the how we did that in just a moment, but wanted to orient you just so that we all know what this class is about. And we had talked about these 6 units when we came back when we asked for approval of the class. The 6 units: culture and globalization, religion and ethnicity, politics and government, population and migration, development and agriculture, and urbanization and suburbanization. All of these units will have an inquiry based instruction. So some of them, the inquiry kind of runs through the whole unit. It really becomes this kind of big, kind of unit-long project. And some of them, it's a smaller piece. For instance, the last one, and this is really where the teachers kind of really get excited about creating new instructional opportunities. The last one, they're really looking at a question, kind of circling in around borders, and do we need borders? Talking about the borders in Indian Prairie, and the borders between schools, and the borders between the city of Naperville and Aurora, and some of our students that live closer to different high schools and go to this one, like all of those things that really is about them, to help them understand, like, all right, now we can use a common frame of reference to kind of look at borders on a macro scale, right? So we've got to develop those understandings and things that they know about, and then build up from there. And then kind of talking about the inquiry question at the end is, could we live in a borderless society? But you need to understand, like, what is a border, right? Why do they develop? What's the history of them? All those pieces in order to answer that big question. And the purpose of those inquiry questions is there are multiple right answers, but really how can you support that, right? And what's the evidence that you're kind of pulling on to do that, and having all of the information to kind of build into your claim, and then evidence and reasoning. This work began in the fall of 2022 in order to prepare for us to share with you in the winter. It has representatives from all 3 of our large high schools, and they've met several times. Truthfully, more frequently than most, because we are, as Matt said, building this up from, there's not a lot of models that have this. It's not, and sometimes you go in, as we talked about the AP class last time, that's pretty scripted for us, right? We just kind of take that and make it ours. What we had to do from this is to start with a blank page and kind of build something out, right? And something that really met the needs of our kids. It's been harder work, but I will tell you, I'll sit in front of you and tell you that I'm proud of all of our teams who come out. I really have a special pride for the work that this group has done in a lot of ways, the equity lens that they put on it, and really the meeting the needs of all students. And one of the pieces that kind of came and really helped me to solidify that this is where they were was, one, as we were kind of finishing our last meeting, Dr. Najjar and Dr. Howard came in to kind of hear our inquiry. Just happened to walk in as we were sharing the inquiries with each other. And they just kind of walked out like, whoa, hey, what's going on here? You know, like, and sometimes you get so close, so you're like, yeah, I guess it's going, yeah, it's a little better than it was yesterday, you know? But to get that outside perspective was a really neat thing. And really, the conversations we had about this part, these resources, was a big deal for us. And so we're here to share with you that we're looking for a couple different resources to support this work. The first is a textbook, and what we're really looking at is classroom sets of this textbook and the digital resources that go along with it. The book is called Contemporary Human Geography. It's the publisher is Savas. By chance, it was not the deciding factor. It's actually written by the same author that our AP Human Geography course is taught by. So it gives us a lot of parallels between the two and a lot of consistency, so it was a happy accident in a way, right? We really evaluated this on its own merits, but then when it came to the end, and that was when we chose, like, oh, that's a really cool add-on, right? What we like about this is it really provides us a foundational resource that creates a common vocabulary around some things that students aren't always super familiar with. What we'll be doing is pairing this with some of our digital databases to really keep this class current and student-centered, right? So we have Newsella is a big one, so we've partnered with them to really build that out. And then we have our LMC directors that are a nice job of looking at that one, but also the databases that we use for all sorts of researchers like Gale and those kinds of databases. So really looking at how do we take those articles that can really be of high interest and combine them with a foundational resource that can combine that sort of that common floor that gives us that common language. And Matt did a really nice job as we were kind of talking through the two pieces last time of why they were kind of in concert so important. So we can talk about the textbook and then the Newsella especially.
Right. So the textbook, the big necessity behind the textbook is not just for the students as a resource, but also for the teachers within ELL as well as special education, because a lot of the times we need extended time to teach these students some of the skills. They need that extra time, that remediated time to improve. And some of those times it's not, you have not necessarily the expert, the classroom teacher available. What we do have is the case managers, myself included, within the study skills time. Now, having a textbook available, seeing the context in which the vocabulary is being presented ensures that it's not going down the internet rabbit hole and that everybody is on the same page as to what's being presented. Now, the digital resource, which is Newsella, this is probably one of the more invaluable when we're talking about presenting current events information as far as news articles, like secondary encyclopedic resources that creates that accessibility, the equity tool within our students. It has the ability to change the reading level to an appropriate level for each of our students and meet them at their skill, and helps build on that through, if we wanted to utilize it, checking for understanding questions at the end of the readings, as well as just the ability to hear it read to them as well. It offers that ability. It's been invaluable for what we've used it so far within world geography. I really hope seeing how we have the ability to, and we've recently learned this, we have the ability to actually tailor make the resources ourselves. We've just been using it for what has been available without asking it to be tailor-made. Now we have the ability, we know this ability that we can actually ask it, this is what we're looking at. They can actually provide us specific resources and specific articles relevant to our course.
And Matt's point on Newsella is really invaluable. While we want all of our students to be reading at grade level, what we want to make sure is that as students are developing towards that, right, that the reading that we're putting in front of them isn't the barrier to kind of entering into this conversation and to being able to contribute to this learning and to really kind of take this on. So we're really excited about this combination of resources to help them. Like all of our resources, they're evaluated in 3 areas, right? Instructional benefits, achievement, equity, and engagement. And I think we heard a little bit about each of those. The digital integration, we can kind of back office integrate those products so that they're seamless, and the fiscal responsibility. And we wanted to make sure that the students got enough, but not too much. We had a lot of like, what's enough? That's not, like we wanted to, it's also that piece of sometimes too much is just too much, right? So we wanted to make sure that they had the right tools at their fingertips, and the team's done a nice job of sort of curating those and say, here's where you can go when you want to, when you're in this chapter, or you're in this unit, or you're in this learning. Here's where you can go in the textbook. Here's where you can go inside of these digital, and the LMC directors have done the same. So those are big pieces. We kind of got ahead of ourselves and walked through a lot of this slide here already, but we really liked that this was really tied closely to the course outcomes. We like the readability and the foundation parts of it, and the databases, which not only can be graded, into a student's readability, but also give us a chance to put multiple perspectives in front of a student right away, like at our fingertips, to say, hey, we're looking at whatever the issue might be. It's the border things, right? Let's put multiple perspectives of whatever that might be in front of students right away. So we're very excited about where this is going. We have the resources here. They're actually in my office, and we'll put them on display here on the district office. And we'd like to come back on June 5th to ask for approval for the textbook. The Newsella is something we already have. We're just employing it, right? So that's something that's already something it's in something that we use already. So with that, I wanted to open up to the board for any questions, mostly for Matt, if that's okay.
Okay, Ms. Fosdick, do you have any questions?
I just want to say thank you first for the thoughtful and diligent selection of those materials to meet the needs of what I assume is the target audience for this, which is students at all levels.
Yep. Yes.
And making it accessible. So thank you for that. That's really exciting. And then I just really wanted to note that I'm now going to mark it down another vote for pronouncing it Newsella rather than News ELA, because there's a debate going on in my house about which it is.
Yeah.
So Newsella gets another vote
There
on
you
my
go.
book. So thank you very much.
Okay, Ms. Deming?
Thank you as always for sharing updates and on our curriculum. You had noted that this particular, I'm trying to think which, I had not chosen which slide it was, but you made the comment that we were concerned regarding students who may not necessarily be at the level, concerned with making sure that we approached and could service students and meet them where they are. And this particular curriculum you felt could really do that. Was that, I just wondered, has that been a concern previously with our prior human?
Yeah, I think we always aspired to it, right? I think now we've made it more of a system decision than a sort of relying on our teachers to do it sort of independently. So we really kind of created a system of this. Here's the expectation. Here are a variety of resources to help you to do it, and we're going to even point you to like which ones you can use to make that happen, right? So it's that differentiation for students is generally a teacher duty, right? And we were just super mindful in this development of this class to create and spaces that was going to happen even more naturally than sometimes it does.
Thank you. And I know we, as you discussed, we found a text that we could use to help support, but there are a number of things that seem to be, and it seems like when we talked about geography, that we have an opportunity to add or not include or to focus on, not focus on. Are we going to, as far as those concentrations at each school and within each class, are there going to be parameters across the district that we anticipate each teacher will cover? I mean, teachers always have the opportunity to make their independent calls as to, so, but we're going to ensure that the curriculum is one that if I'm at Matia and I'm at Nequa, they're going to be
Yeah,
the same.
great question. So we, going back to this slide here, maybe this will be a nice kind of starting point, is that we created these 6 units. In each of those units, there are a handful up to a dozen standards right out of the Illinois State Standards for Learning, right, that we expect teachers to meet within that. We created, some of them are embedded in that inquiry activity that we created. Others are, hey, we can get at that thing, you know, whatever that is, by going to page 42 in the book and having the kids do that reading together, right? So that's some of where the resources come in. We do also that piece of that, those things are guaranteed and viable, right? So those are things that all of our teachers are going to be doing. Now, we do offer teachers some professional discretion to say, how do I meet the needs of the kids in front of me, right? So that instructionally, that may not be, we don't want the factory, right? So it's a balance of, we want to make sure that the learning is guaranteed, right? But also give teachers, because we know that that book's not going to teach them geography, that the digital subscription's not going to teach them geography. It's Matt and the rest of that team and the rest of their peers that are going to do it, right? To give them the autonomy in order to kind of get at those things instructionally in ways that are meaningful. I'll tell you, this curriculum team, more than others, really laid out in those inquiries some expected instruction, right? Because that's really instruction, not really curriculum, right? Not an outcome. And so moving into, like, these are things, instruction that you need to do because they get at the inquiry standards as well, maybe even more than we've done in the past.
Okay. And so I appreciate that, you know, when I look at a couple of the areas, just wanting to ensure, and I know our teachers are great in trying to find creative ways to ensure that the material is covered. I appreciate, though, that you have included a variety of personnel across the district to ensure that things are, that we look at topics with appreciation of everyone and everyone's sensitivities.
Thank you.
Mr. Krubis.
Great job as always. I like, updating our courses, and I definitely think the resources need updating, so I'm glad we're taking the time to do that. Sometimes I see my students and my kids' textbooks, and they definitely need updating at times. So I appreciate the partnership between the textbook and the digital resources. I think just like we are learning to enjoy reading a paper textbook, but also, the speed and ability to update the digital content. So that's awesome. The strategic plan speaks of us kind of taking a review of our curriculum, and that's longer term. I feel as a board member, I would like to request some kind of report on what we're doing when on certain topics, and I feel like some of these we're getting and we need to do, and you've been working on it for years practically, and it'd be nice to know this is the one we're doing first, this is the one we're going to do next year, this is the subject we're covering, this is where we're at. So I think more of the 30,000 foot view, and just kind of a report to figure out where our focus is. That's something I'd be interested in.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think we made our first stab at doing that when we shared the 5-year plan a while back. I think that I don't want to speak for Dr. Lee in his new role, but I think that kind of coming in with an update of that, because that's going to, as we said at the time, that's not written in the tablets, right? So it's going to be sort of kind of a moving target a little bit. So to come in at some periodic kind of time frame that kind of meets the board's needs to say, here's an update, whether that's annually or biannually or more often.
Right. Are we on pace with the human geography? Are we behind on it?
Exactly.
I mean, I can appreciate having to deal with our current resources, but that is, I think, part of when the board is trying to allocate resources, we need to know, is this going to take 5 years? Is it going to take you know, how old are certain textbooks? There's certain information I think would be appreciative. Otherwise, I love what you guys are doing. Keep at it, you know, go faster, you know. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Jentz?
I want to thank you guys too for all the work you have been doing. And even on a personal level, I have a freshman taking AP Human Geography next year. The only question I did wonder, and you did already kind of answer it in, you know, the teacher's kind of discretion with individual students, the elimination of the honors, you know, level social studies, obviously is a question where I just wonder, I think most honors are probably taking AP, but there are probably some that are just taking regular. So is that a consideration too, a little bit with the curriculum for both?
Yeah, so we, is going to go back to the conversation we had a while back, is we had 4 options for incoming freshmen in past years. 3 of them were AP and honors and 1 of them was not. And truth be told, there's a bit of an equity issue there, right? That our high achieving kids had all sorts of options and our kids for whom school was harder did not, right? So we kind of came in and said, well, what is this going to look like moving forward? And we could have gone to a model that was 2 and 2. We could have done something. One of the things that's really been a challenge for us in a lot of ways, one is if we did kind of 4 classes, now we're resourcing 4 classes, right? So, and kind of professionally developing and all those kind of things. But the other piece is that it's really the flow of these mandates that are coming from the state is coming faster and faster and faster and faster. And we need to have guaranteed ways that we're doing that. It's hard to say we're going to do that in a freshman class if some of them are history and some are geography and some are this and some are that and some of the other thing. And particularly when you start getting into a relationship with College Board, you know, things are a little more scripted. So that was a lot of the rationale around that. The AP World class is still a class that we're really excited about, and I think it's going to have a really great place for us, just not at the grade 9 graduation requirement spot, right? So we're really excited about kind of where we're going in this class. Like I said, I think it's going to meet the needs of a lot of kids, and I think it's going to appeal to very many of them.
Yeah, I love that answer and agree completely. I do like that we're trying to make it more equitable for all students. So thank you very much again for all you guys are doing. And I won't put as much pressure on you as Justin did.
Take your time.
All right, Mr. Rising.
So thanks for coming back with the curriculum this quick, because just December, we just made the change of eliminating the, what was it, the world geography, right? We're
right.
replacing world geography with human geography.
Got it.
So now at the freshman level, they'll just be human geography and AP human geography.
Correct.
If you could predict, or if you've seen the course selections come in, where do you think that breakdown percentage-wise? I mean, are we talking 80% of our kids are going to be doing AP Human, and only about 20% of our kids are going to be doing regular human geography, or?
No, between the schools, the rough numbers are, and I wish I were a little bit more prepared to give you a very strict answer.
You don't need
The answer
to
is
right now.
somewhere between, at the different schools, it's between 2/3 in the regular and 1/3 in the AP.
Oh, okay.
To, I think, the one school is pretty close to 50-50, but every school is more kids registered for this class than the AP class.
Really?
Yeah, which is
Okay.
pretty typical of all of our kind of
Okay.
freshman splits.
Okay. Yeah, and so then after freshman year, depending on where their interests lie, I'm assuming most kids that aren't following a social studies track or something in post-secondary are just getting in their U.S. history and then kind of done with social studies. Is that pretty much correct?
So our graduation requirements are that they take a U.S. history class, which can be met by our U.S. history, our interdisciplinary American society class, which is both English and social studies caught in a double block, or our AP U.S. history class. And then they also have a U.S. government graduation requirement, which can be met by the regular U.S. government or the AP U.S. government class, right? Many of our students, and we are trying to psychology, sociology, one of those kinds of classes, or another history class, because that's something that they're really interested in, another government class, like our comparative government class. So we have a lot of really interesting options. And one of the things that's on the 5-year plan, right, that you saw was to kind of take a relook at some of those electives to make sure that we're doing the right work, both on the student interest level, so doing some student surveys around that, the teacher interest level are the things that teachers are really passionate about that we can kind of dig into, and also the diversity of our offerings, right? Are we kind of appealing to the same kind of kid or learner, or are we kind of making sure that we're having things that meet the needs of a lot of different students that kind of come through our doors?
Yeah, and I would just echo again what Mr. Krubis and what that, when I look at other high school course catalogs in other districts, there's kind of a clear pathway program, right? Or what is a prerequisite to a next subject, or if you take this, then these courses are available for you from 10th grade to 12th grade, right? So I know we have some of that kind of listed, like this is a freshman social studies class, but there aren't those pathways per se. It'd be kind of nice to see some of that, because I know as a parent, it's confusing, but even with our students, I think sometimes they're confused too, and I think if those students, and we've got great students that plan ahead, I think if they kind of see that ahead of time, and then when they meet with their counselor, because they all get a chance in 8th grade coming to freshman year, but getting that time and having that extended time in 9th grade going into 10th grade is a little more difficult. So outlining some of those pathways, I think, would help our students out as well.
Yeah, I think the better we communicate, always the better. I think we want to find that balance between creating those really tight pathways, right, and giving kids opportunities to explore their passions and interests, right? So we got to find, like, where's the right balance in that tipping point? Because I think you want to make sure that kids that need a flashlight to kind of really get where they're going, let's make sure we provide that to them, but also not make it so even the appearance of that's the only way to go, right? So we are certainly working on how to communicate that better, and particularly in this area, because there's so many great choices that we want to really pique kids' interest.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Ms. Jane.
I want to applaud the multiple lens through which you really analyze this, from the ELL perspective, IEP perspective, students who are not quite there at that grade, and just really thinking through, and I hope this model can be replicated and shared across with, as we start to re-examine our resources, because that's wonderful. I also appreciate what Matt spoke about with regard to, it sounds like the digital component of this resource is allowing the scalability, or allowing more of the customization.
Yeah, to an extent, yes, it is. It provides like the real world, what's happening in the real world, current events wise. It's not necessarily providing curriculum per se, like terminology, which is what we would need the textbook for.
Okay.
But in partnership, it works perfectly well together.
Okay, great. And so here's, I guess I'm curious to know a little bit more about the training that's going to be involved to get our teachers up to speed with utilizing both the physical and digital resources, because resources are great, but it's really great only when the teacher knows how to use it.
For sure. So there's two pieces. We can't get too far in front of that until after the June 5th board meeting.
Okay.
But I can't get people to come in and train until I've kind of told them that we're going to pay for it, right? So so that piece is definitely on the table. We have 2 meetings with the curriculum team. One, we've already kind of lined up Newzella to come in and do some PD with that group, because that's one that's we already have the contract with them, so that we can move a little bit faster with that group. And we'll do the same with this vendor. And with Savas, we'll get them in. Probably it'll be 3 pieces. One, we'll do some optional paid summer training for any teacher who's assigned to this, including team teachers, EL folks, or any of those kinds of folks, during the summer. bring the vendor in to do some training on that day, to onboard our teachers and really, and that's hopefully mostly just in time things like, hey, remember, you click here and you go there, right? A lot of that kind of stuff, right? Because things are getting pretty real then, right? But what we find too is what we want to do is to provide a level of confidence and comfort for our teachers by the time school starts. They really understand what their questions are in about October. So we bring the vendor back, whether it's the questions, everyone's a little different, either in person or virtually. A lot of times it works really well to bring them in virtually during some of our PLC time, to come and do a 45-minute, like kind of 201 sort of level class, right? So you know what your questions are now, and I'm going to help to kind of address those. So that's where we'll start with those, and that model works really well to kind of get us rolling.
And do you see a large learning curve with the utilization of this? Like, is this a big variance from what teachers are used to using?
Yeah.
Is this
No. So the textbooks are textbooks, right? So the team's going to do a nice job of kind of pointing them to, here's where you go. Even if the basics of the digital part of that teachers use at the very beginning is, here's a textbook that you can bring home on your Chromebook, right? And you can kind of do that reading. And then there's other pieces on there, some follow-up questions, things like that. And that can come over time. You know, we've got a 6-year partnership here. If we're not experts by Labor Day, that's okay, right? We want to get good at it over time rather than trying to cram everything, because we don't want to overwhelm our staff with this either, right?
Yes.
So give them just enough, just in time, right? And the Newsella piece is something that our teachers are comfortable with and have been using over time. What we're going to do, the curriculum team's going to do over the summer, is to begin to curate some of that. Matt talked about that a little bit, and say, hey, you don't have to go find that, but we're going to have it here for you so you can just link to it and kind of go. But you can also say, hey, I want more, I want a couple more articles about that because I want to get some different perspectives. You can go ahead and find those too, right? But we've got some things that are already curated for you to help you get started.
And I also like that by chance this happens to be the same publisher as, or the same authors as the AP Human Geo, which, does that mean the content is relatively similar?
The units are actually the same between the two
Okay.
classes. Yeah, so the really the difference is, which should be the difference between regular and AP classes, regular and honors classes, is really we talk about, it's not about more, but it's kind of, typically it's more depth, right?
Yeah.
And that's typically what we talk about with an honors class, particularly at the ninth grade level. One of the things that we like, and Mr. Reising, you brought this up last time when we were talking about biology, is that the kids come up and they have this real sense of that writing style, claim and evidence and reasoning, right? And that we talk about that in our middle grades, and that's going to be a huge part of this class as well. And we talked about it with the biology class, right? So we're really seeing this transfer of these skills, these writing skills, these communication skills, that it's not just happening in boxes, right? So really kind of working towards that and developing that from a student. And what I like particularly about kids, that maybe sometimes are challenged by some of the content, is that if we're really kind of teaching them the thinking and the skills and the communication, right, that can develop, because maybe I'm stronger in biology than I am in this, but I can kind of develop those skills and then apply it to somewhere where the content's a little harder for me, right? So really developing all of those things out is a pretty exciting place for us.
Great. One last question.
Yeah.
I think I asked this last time. Were students involved with
Trying
this out?
This one, so I love that question. I had spent some time on that Tuesday after talking about it. This is not one where we had the kids kind of coming in and look at it. There's a couple different reasons why on this one. One is it's a new class, and we don't have kids that kind of, with the AP government class, it was like, it's kind of the same class, and you can take kids who are doing that and say, well, this would help me learn, right? This one was a new piece, and again, it's our ninth graders, they're really smart and they're really able. A little less savvy on kind of differentiating between what's this one and the other one.
Yeah.
And this one was, I said this last time, all of our projects are a little bit different. This one, when we came to resources, it was a little bit of, do we need a textbook or do we not need a textbook? Do we really want to go with these inquiries and the articles? There was a little bit of that going on, and that level of nuance was not kind of ninth grader appropriate, right? So certainly a big part of our process, and it's kind of on our decision tree. Is this something where we want to get the kids kind of involved in that or not, and kind of why or why not?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So thank you for the presentation. And, you did a great job promoting the enthusiasm around the content in this course. both the process that was used and the content. I liked the student awareness portion of it. I appreciated your example about the border thing, because it's like, I thought, yeah, that is a good way of having students think through this. You know, it's like a very personal example. So thank you. I look forward to the this moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we have a presentation from Ms. Lisa Berry and Ms. Jeannie Dinah regarding communications update.
Good evening, President Donahue, board members, and Dr. Talley. Thank you for the opportunity to present our communications update tonight. Joining me this evening is Assistant Director of Community Relations, Jeannie Dinah, and we are pleased to be here to share with you the activities of our department and how they relate to the strategic plan. As you know, we released our 5-year strategic plan in October. The plan provides many opportunities for the communications department to further engage with the community and increase our ability to support our students, families, and schools. The work of our department primarily focuses on Strategic Plan Priority 3, Engage with the Community. One of our first projects in the 22-23 school year was the release of our annual report. After more than 15 years since the production of the district's last annual report, we prepared this document to share an update with our community in this 50th anniversary year. Going forward, our annual report will serve as an update to the community on the progress in meeting our strategic plan objectives. This year, we released the report in October in conjunction with the strategic plan, and then the 23-24 school year, we will plan to release it in the first quarter of the year. As stated earlier, the strategic plan provides several initiatives for the communications department in which to focus. Our work this year was primarily related to Strategic Plan Priority 3, and these are the activities we'll be focusing on this evening. Some of these are a continuation of previous projects, some are an expansion of existing programs, and some are new initiatives that we've launched this year. Strategic Plan Priority 3, Objective 1, Strategy 1, references superintendent chats that will occur throughout the year. Previously, in the 21-22 school year, we held 3 listen and learn sessions with Dr. Talley. This year, we are offering coffee and conversation events as an opportunity for community members to have an open dialogue with Dr. Talley and board members. These events are structured a little differently than listen and learn events that were held last year, with invitations for each of the 4 sessions going to specific schools. This offers a more intimate environment and a dialogue to focus on topics related specifically to schools within a defined geographical area. We've held 2 coffee and conversations events in the second half of this year, one at Fisher Middle School and one at Granger Middle School. We look forward to hosting our final 2 events when we return for the 23-24 school year.
We also held 8 parent university sessions in both in-person and virtual formats, with topics ranging from school safety to mental health issues. In fall of this year, we conducted a parent survey to understand not only the topics of interest to our families, but also the format in which they would like to receive the content. 23% of respondents, 33% requested virtual, 44% chose a video presentation to watch on their own time. Given these results, we offered half of our sessions in person and half virtually. We also recorded the sessions and provided them for viewing on our YouTube channel. We had a total of 2,280 attendees or views on YouTube for our parent university sessions this school year.
We have concluded our work on the school spotlight videos this year. The videos were a great way for new families to learn about their school community. Each video included interviews with the school principal, parents, students, and teachers, and focused on what makes the school unique or special. The videos were very well received with nearly 50,000 total views. Parents were grateful to learn more about the school their children would attend, especially those impacted by the boundary changes that went into effect at the beginning of the 22-23 school year. Strategic Plan Priority 3 included communicating the strategic plan to our community. We did this in a variety of ways, starting with printing postcards that contain a message from Dr. Talley and a QR code to access the strategic plan digitally. The cards were distributed to all our buildings and made available throughout the year at various events. Additionally, we recorded a 2-part podcast in which the strategic plan priorities were discussed in detail. The podcast was hosted by Director of Innovation, Brian Giovannini, and Director of Professional Learning, Candy Michelli, and featured our superintendent, board president, and staff members to discuss various aspects of the strategic plan. The podcast was made available through our regular channels, and the video was made available on YouTube. We also announced the release of our strategic plan on Twitter, and the plan is available on the district's website.
As we returned from the pandemic, we heard from students, parents, and our community the desire for more mental health resources. The idea of a mental health symposium was brought forward by Dawn Faulkner, District 204 Social, Emotional, and Wellness Coordinator. Our team collaborated with Dawn to develop an event that included a keynote, breakout sessions on various mental health topics, and a community resource fair. We offered childcare for attendees with small children. We had about 100 attendees at the event. All sessions were recorded and are available on YouTube, which have garnered an additional 500 views. We appreciate the collaboration of our community partners who participated in the symposium. We look forward to expanding the opportunities and implementing feedback for next year's event. The superintendent has engaged with the community through various methods to include Rotary, Chambers of Commerce, Kiwanis, and other organizations. This year, we have expanded our partnership with Kids Matter through the Kindness Campaign, Downtown Naperville Parking Garage Wayfinding Murals, and they were one of our keynote speakers at our Mental Health Symposium, along with the Naperville Police Department, Fox Valley Institute, and Linden Oaks. In addition to the many ways that Dr. Talley is engaging with the community, we are strengthening our relationship with the Aurora and Naperville Chambers of Commerce to build student internship programs and development opportunities. We also held a district-wide food drive which collected over 3,000 pounds of food to support Loaves and Fishes community services, which in turn supports our families in the district that utilizes their services. This year, we expanded our sponsorship revenue from local businesses to support our mental health symposium, our opening day event for our teachers, and the Peace of Mind breakfast. We are proud and grateful to have continued support of our donors. Their generosity makes a difference in the district and the community. Moving forward, we will continue to build our sponsorship revenue to enhance our District 204 programs. So on this slide, we are so fortunate to have such a wonderful community that supports the district. And listed are the community partners and sponsors that have worked with us this school year.
As part of the strategic plan, we created a 5-year plan to increase volunteerism in the district. During the last several weeks of this school year, we are working with schools at each level to pilot a volunteer tracking program. Our goal is to determine both the number of volunteers and total volunteer hours. We have solicited feedback from principals during General Assembly through one-on-one meetings, and we are currently conducting a survey with all building principals, assistant principals, and student services coordinators. We are gathering information on ways schools are currently using volunteers and what options schools have to use volunteers in the future. For example, elementary schools may want volunteer support during arrival and dismissal, during lunch, or at recess. During the summer, we will compile our learnings from each of these data collection methods and develop a volunteer tracking process for all buildings to implement at the start of the 23-24 school year. The process will include tracking volunteers both during school hours and for those events and activities that occur outside of the school day. In future years, we plan to establish a district-wide volunteer recruitment process and a volunteer recognition program, culminating in the implementation of a formalized, comprehensive volunteer program. We've taken a number of steps this year to increase communication formats to include languages other than English. Collaborating with the district's technology department, we upgraded our Blackboard mass communication system and renamed it 204 Connect. In addition to phone and email, we are now able to send text messages to parents and guardians. The software syncs with Synergy and allows parents to choose their preferred language during registration in Parent View. When messages are sent from 204 Connect, we have the option to choose all the preferred languages that are assigned to the group to which the message is being sent. We continue to work with the vendor, as there is a character limit on translated messages. Lengthy messages, such as the district-wide weekly update email, are not translated by the system, but are personally translated to Spanish with the help of our ELL department. Fortunately, emergency messages are translated in the user's preferred language for email, phone, and text messages sent. We are also very excited to be launching our new websites in June. The new sites will offer translations for any language through Google Translate. Additionally, we are moving our websites from being primarily informational to a more engaging experience, with scrolling photos in the header, photos in the news items, a calendar app, and integration with social media sites. The new sites will offer more flexibility and ease of updating, which will allow staff users assigned to various pages to update the pages quickly and easily with the most current content. We are also thrilled that the new websites are fully accessible and incorporate software to check all attachments for accessibility as well. Cade Nyland, our digital communications and content coordinator, has done a phenomenal job in preparing all of our websites for this transition. We also want to thank Rod Mack and his team for working with us on both the 204 Connect upgrade as well as the implementation of Web Community Manager into our Blackboard software to help increase communications formats for our community. We have made it a priority this year to honor holidays and dates of cultural significance. We want all of our community to feel a sense of belonging, and we are honoring the traditions and rich culture our families bring to our diverse district. In addition, we have also taken advantage of the opportunity to recognize various individuals for the impact they make in our district. This includes principals, assistant principals, staff appreciation, as well as social workers, school psychologists, speech pathologists, bus drivers, food service workers, administrative professionals, and many more. This year, we've seen a 15% growth in Twitter followers, which may be due to the additional engagement of our entire district community.
Prairie Parents Council. We are happy to bring back the Coat and Winter Accessory Drive, in which we collected 2,600 items to support over 200 students and their families. The Teacher Appreciation Program, which offered parents the opportunity to purchase the City of Aurora currency or a downtown Naperville gift card, was available to thank a staff member for their efforts. As part of the program, each $25 purchase included a $20 gift card of their choice and a $5 donation to IPPC's annual school supply drive. New for this year, the Indian Prairie Parents Council supported the Clothesline Project. The Clothesline Project is a program to raise awareness about interpersonal violence, including sexual abuse and relationship abuse. The Clothesline Project is a visual display of t-shirts in different colors with graphic messages and illustrations, each of which represents the experience of a survivor or someone who has lost their life to interpersonal violence. The program was available to high school students in their physical education classes. We received a total of $5,500 in supplies and donations from the community. An Explore 204 video about the project is available on our YouTube channel. We worked with our McKinney-Vento liaison, Sandy Diaz, to support our homeless families again during the holiday season. During the IPPC Winter Wishes program, we received contributions from organizations in our schools and communities, as well as individual families, to provide holiday assistance to 342 of our families who qualify for free and reduced lunch or who are in a homeless situation. Also during the holiday season, Anderson's Bookshop gave the gift of reading to 533 of our middle school students through the Book Angels program. For Thanksgiving, families were offered gift cards so they can purchase reheated meals or groceries from Meijer. This program was made available through the Indian Prairie Educational Foundation Kid Essentials Fund. We are grateful for all the support to help make the holidays a little brighter for our families in need. This year, we had 102 requests from schools for healthy snacks. With help from the Indian Prairie Parents Council Snack Drive, Indian Prairie Educational Foundation Kid Essentials Fund, and abundance of snacks from the Fry Elementary Friendship Day Drive, we are able to supply healthy snacks for all the schools who requested them. The Indian Prairie Educational Foundation supported the Valley Runway program again this year that helped 41 low-income students get dresses and tuxedos for prom. Additionally, our community donated accessories, shoes, and purses. We continue to partner with the Indian Prairie Educational Foundation to support our families in need through the Kid Essentials Fund. The fund provided more than $30,000 in support of food, clothing, and the basic needs of our families. We appreciate the continued partnership with the Indian Prairie Parents Council, the Indian Prairie Educational Foundation, as well as all of our community partners who offer support to our students, families, and our staff.
Thank you for your time this evening. We are happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Just, first of all, thank you so much for compiling, especially the last few slides, and just sharing the graciousness of our entire community, our district. And we say it often, but thank you to the parents, our staff, our administration, our teachers, our students, because this district is just immensely, immensely blessed. So thank you for pulling that together. And I'm really, I love some of the creativity that that this particular department has shown in working on, with our strategic plan, and helping us to really look to see how we can talk with the community to hear what they have to say. It's a wonderful opportunity for we as board members, through Dr. Talley and a couple of us that may join him, but for us to really hear and understand, because it's so important for us in the work that we're doing to make sure, because we're working on behalf of all the stakeholders here. So a variety of things, just as you involved in the strategic plan, it was really important for us to have the entire community, a variety of stakeholders, including students and business, religious, faculty, administration. So great work on just making sure that we are doing a variety of things to address the strategic plan priority number 3. And those are really just the comments that I have. I love our school voices. And just a quick question, were we able to use, and I don't know whether it was possible, were we able to use any of our high school media to help with those, or not at this?
We used our high school media department at Mattia for the mental health symposium. Are you referring to the school spotlight videos?
Yes, yes.
Yes, no, we did not use any of our high school media departments.
Okay, all right. Thanks. They're fantastic. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Rising.
Yeah, first of all, great job. You know, well, Ms. Deming said, I like that you tied your whole presentation back to the strategic plan. I greatly appreciate that. Specifically priority 3 and objective 1, 2, and 3, and then you also tied it back to the evidence of success within the success plan or the strategic plan. So kudos to that. Thank you for all the work and all the people that you mentioned that helped out. It's amazing the two of you had kind of oversaw all of this that you described. Just, Lisa, I'm gonna kind of just throw something at you, and there's no right or wrong answer. When we first started talking about specifically the parent university videos, I think we started talking about that like 2 years ago. And I always thought it was just an amazing opportunity and a way to get our information out as a district. But looking at the views of the videos, I know you said almost 2,300 views, but that's kind of, down, not as high as I would love to see them, because there's only like 100 or 200 views per video about, is there anything that we think could maybe increase those views, or might the new website do that, or some of the more interactive stuff we're going to do? Because I think the 7 videos that we made this year are incredible videos. I mean, the becoming an elementary school parent or becoming a middle school parent. I'd love to see one on instructions for parent pickup video, but that's another story. I would love it if these could get in the hands, and I don't know if that takes better putting out the information. I don't know if that takes schools kind of marketing it for us individually. Have you had any thoughts about that? I just wanted to kind of pick your brain more or less about, where you think that could increase going forward.
Yes, thank you for the question. So at the beginning of the year, as Jeannie said, we did a survey to understand from our parents how they wanted to receive that information. We had our first 2 parent universities, which was the school safety and the discipline events, and we saw really low attendance on those, which is what prompted us to do the survey. And then understanding that the majority, 77% of our parents wanted to receive that content either virtually or in a video format, is when we really, and we did record the first 2 as well, but then we started recording them and putting them on our YouTube channel to make them available for everyone to see. After each parent university, we do include it in our weekly update newsletter to let parents know that that content is there, as well as on our website, and we tweet it out as well. So we're really trying to get that information out there for parents, but really we just want them to know that it is available there for them when they are ready to receive it. So the biggest thing for us, I think, is just making sure that when a parent wants to have that content available to view on their own time, that it's there for them to do that.
Yeah, and again, I understand that there's probably a lot of newness to this too, right? Because it's the first year we've really just kind of exploded with those parent videos. But hopefully going forward, the schools will get to know them more, the social workers, especially like the mental health symposium videos, which are wonderful information as well. So I look forward to seeing that grow, because I think there's some amazing opportunities in it for us as a district that'll benefit the board, the administration at the district level, the schools. I mean, I just think the possibilities are endless for those videos. So thank you for doing those. And then just one final comment. I always appreciate you looking at the equity piece as well. How you were very intentional about, with the website and the languages and that stuff like that. So that's all I had. Thanks.
Ms. Jane.
Thank you, Lisa and Jeannie, for all the work. I mean, the work is immense, and for the size of our district, it's really remarkable what you are able to report today. I love slide 12 because it shows our diverse community, and the fact that we can partner and get sponsorship from such a variety of organizations is really worth celebrating. So I love the slide. Visually, I love the slide. 13, this one got me really excited. I've never seen a plan for volunteerism. Like, I think that's extraordinary. And again, given the size of our district, and when I go out into the community and talk with parents, there is definitely an interest, but maybe not an alignment of their interest with schedules or just knowing where to go and when to go. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be with their child's building. They just want to help, but they don't know how. So I really love this. I'm just curious, what's the context in which this came about? Like, what's the genesis of this idea?
Well, it's in our strategic plan.
Oh, okay.
So really, when we looked at high-level strategic plan initiatives for our department, and knowing that this is a 5-year strategic plan, looking at something like this volunteer program, it's really going to take us the 5 years to implement it. So when we looked at areas that we really wanted to focus on starting this year, the volunteer program really kind of rose to the top for us, because it is going to be a lot of work, and you know, working with our schools and parents to pull that together. So we're really excited about it. We talked about it at IPPC and with some of our principals and some of our volunteers, and I think this is something that everyone will really get on board with. So we're really excited to move forward with it.
It's very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the was with slide 14. Again, echoing what Mark just mentioned about accessibility for our diverse families. Now, this, just a technical question, is this like a one-time setting that a parent would have, or how does that work?
So that's just what you see on the slide is just a small, it's like the upper right corner of the website, so they can click that icon and then they can translate that page to any language. So it's at any point that they want it translated, it can happen for them.
Okay, great. That's excellent, because I can definitely, and that will be in effect when our new website
Yes.
comes out. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Jentz.
I definitely want to echo everyone's sentiments, just thanking you guys. And I obviously had the pleasure of working with you all year, Jeannie. So I got to be part of a lot of these. So I've seen personally what it does for the district and the impact it has on the kids and the parents. So I consider myself lucky to be in your presence. But I was wondering, and I don't know if this will ever be possible, but kind of piggybacking on Mr. Rising's comments of trying to get Parent University to more families. Obviously, some of it might be also a language, gap. Is there any way or any talk of trying to at least like make the videos or something able to translate to a couple languages? Obviously, I'd love all of them, but
Yeah, that's something we can certainly look at going forward. We would love for the information to get into the hands of more families. So just trying to find ways to do that for next year and beyond.
Excellent. Yeah, that was honestly my biggest question, and just a huge thank you to both of you for all that you do. It really is such a huge job, and you both do it really well and very calmly. Jeannie saved me quite a few times this year. No, thank you both so much.
Mr. Krubis.
You guys are doing so much with the resources you have. So you have got an 18 slide deck here on, I know your bench isn't as deep. So they talk about how we can never communicate enough. But I think you're doing a good job. So thanks for that. I think echoing Board Member Jane, slide 13 on the volunteerism is where the focus should be. Because we need to times 100 on what you are doing so that other people can do it. And so being more intentional with this, we from the board member that's been here for 10 years, we've had a cultural shift. And so there might be some difference in volunteering. So being intentional, saying we need you here, this is an opportunity, just taking a look at it. We've also been through a phase where we hardened our buildings, locked the doors. Parents need to show IDs, go through the background checks. And then we're coming out of the pandemic, after we just told a lot of people that they couldn't come to school, and now we're trying to invite them back. So figuring out a way for that to be much more intentional is great. I think that's where the magic is. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and just collect contact information from graduates and say, if you were in the marching band, you can come and help out at marching band sometime, or homecoming. Instead of just an event, here's an opportunity to help out with the play because you participated in the play prior. So there's a lot of opportunity that's there. Obviously, it takes resources to organize and plan that. But I know that, being an alum, you have the familiarity, but having the opportunity and knowing it is the important part. So connecting those dots. We have parents that students have graduated. Now maybe they've lost contact with the district because they're not on the email listserv. Yeah, they could follow on Twitter. But, if you spent a lot of time going to shows, you might still want to go to the show. And that's a good way. We could have free tickets for 10 people to go to a football game because you're a football alum, as a way to promote some people to come into the schools. And then the senior citizens, they might be looking for an opportunity where they can help out the community as well. So I think slide 13 is where we need to help out immensely, so we can leverage what you guys are doing, and you're doing a fantastic job. So thank you.
Ms. Bosdick.
Thank you for all of this good news. It's super exciting. I love the very intentional and very thorough efforts to make sure that as much as we can, each member of our community feels valued. And part of that is making sure that they know what's going on, and they know how they can participate. And that leads me to the volunteer thing, which is so exciting. As a district volunteer, one of 7 up here, I can say that I get way more out of volunteering, I think, than I give. And I think that's true of most of our district volunteers. I had a conversation earlier this week when I was just in a crabby mood with some friends about a phrase that really gets my goat, which is, if more people would just step up, then we could get more done. And that really bugs me, because I think people volunteer when they can. They give when and how they can. And part of the reason, part of the time they do that is when they know what needs are there. And so I'm hoping, and I think it's probably part of this process to see with this volunteer database what needs are there. Like, for example, an art teacher asked me, is there any way to get help for the Fine Arts Festival? And I said, I bet there are parents in your school who would really like to volunteer to help, but they don't know, right? That's just one small example for this. So I'm super excited about it. Thank you for doing all of the groundwork to get this up and running, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Thanks.
Ms. Dumming.
I had already asked a question, and I actually had forgotten to ask a question about slide 13, but it really, board member Kariba's kind of addressed some of it, and I just really wanted to make sure that we talk about parent involvement and ways to engage parents, and sometimes parents have a challenge in feeling that there's something that they can give, especially if they're not able to do it during school hours. Mm-hmm. And so I was just going to ask as we continue to work on this plan, to just ensure, and we like to be inclusive, but ensure that we're thinking out of the box of different ways that parents can be volunteers. I was thinking mostly from the parental view, but I think Board Member Karub's talked about a lot of different places where we can have involvement. So that was just something that I had wanted to ask and was thinking
Yes,
about.
those were all great suggestions. When we put out our survey to the principals, assistant principals, and student services coordinators, one of the questions we asked them is how would they like to use volunteers in their building? Finding out from them, you know, in a perfect world, what would your volunteerism in your building look like, to really understand from them, because some of them don't even really know the opportunities that they could use volunteers for because maybe their building has very low volunteerism. So we really want to understand from them kind of like what is their perfect world situation for volunteers. And so then from that, we can kind of put those volunteer opportunities out to parents. And also just knowing that there's so many volunteer opportunities that parents can do at home. There's many projects that teachers can give parents and they can take home and help out. So even if they don't have the opportunity to go to the school, it's maybe something that could go home with their child and then they could work on in the evening or at another time.
Thank you for that, because I'm always thinking when we talk about parents coming into the schools or being involved, helping find ways that those that can't necessarily get into the buildings but can definitely make a difference. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I'll echo everyone's comments. It's, I looked at this presentation, I thought, wow, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, really, really active year, and all of the new things that you inserted and tried. I was wondering about this school spotlight videos. Are you gonna circle around and redo them now that we have like 8 new principals?
That's a great suggestion.
Or
It is
seven-
actually a great
seven?
suggestion. We would like to do that maybe, we were thinking maybe like every 2 years to put them on a cycle so that we can have them available for new families and the information is current and relevant to their current school situation.
Yeah, because I've watched several of them, a lot of them actually, and it's like I think those are very helpful for, you know, new people coming into the school or whatever, so it's like very, really nice. But I really do like the variety of things that you're involved with and all of the new ideas that you've implemented this year, and the tie to the strategic plan is great, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, our last item is legislative advocacy and Board of Education update. Does anyone have anything?
I will be attending the LEND meeting this Friday.
Person.
In person. Ms. Donahue and Ms. Deming cannot make it, so I'll be attending that, and our new state superintendent, Dr. Sanders, will be there, and I'll be ringing his ear on a couple things.
Yeah, I think that I'm sure you'll continue the discussion on proficiency.
Yeah.
And,
I just wanna follow up with our, you know, long email that we had sent him, that I sent to all of you, so.
Be sure you let him know that you're from 204.
Oh, no,
He appreciates and respects
Yeah.
Dr. Talley.
Yeah, no, and Tony and I have known each other for many, many, many years, and just at the last III conference, him and I were in a session together and sat next to each other and talked for a long time, so, but, you know, I just want to catch up more or less to see how things are going for him, and, you know, I'm obviously make it friendly, and, you know, I know he thinks a lot of us, and as well as we do from, you know, his history and his work in the state, so, yep.
So Springfield is almost done with their session, but there's still a couple of very active discussions going on some impactful legislation related to the schools. And, you know, as I learn or hear more information, I'll pass it along. But for the people who have reacted to some of the topics that we have expressed concern over, one is purchasing or selling land, and the other is on school vouchers. So it's like, I'll just continue to pass along anything that I hear, so thank you. Anything else? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned.